Hi, welcome to this Android video demonstration on location. Location uses GPS or the IP address or tower locations to try and determine the latitude and the longitude of the device currently. Now, of course, in the emulator, we don't have a physical device for this to work against, but we are able to send lats and longes to an Android application that is running in the emulator for testing purposes. So what I've got here is a very simple layout. I've got 4 text views. Of course, you can't see the other 2, but I've got a latitude and a longitude label, and then I have 2 other text views that I'm going to populate with the actual latitude and longitude that I send to my application. In my main activity, I have set up just a regular, simple main activity, extending activity as always, and then I'm calling right at the beginning, on create, I'm calling setup location. Setup location is a function, a method that I have written, and then in that setup location method, we're just going to get a location manager object, and I've called it loc manager, and this we get from using the system service location service out of the context. So context.location service will give us the location service that we can use to get the latitude and longitude. Now, services in Android, all of these system services we would get in exactly the same way. We'd use context dot whatever service. The location service just happens to be the constant that is used to get this particular service. So when we look at sensors like accelerometers and gravitometers and things like that, we're going to be getting them in the same way by using get system service with context dot whatever service we're talking about. After we have the service, we're going to be setting up another object, a location listener, and this is of type location listener, and I'm calling it loc listener, and that is a new location listener that we must override 4 methods in. Typically we only use 1, but in a production application we would probably use about 3 of these methods. The first one is on location changed. This tells us when that location information changes, and here I'm calling a method called show location that I'll show you in a moment. The second one is on provider disabled. This is when the actual location provider is disabled. Say the connection drops or the GPS connection drops for some reason, one particular satellite goes out of range. So this is on provider disabled. On provider enabled, likewise, just the opposite function. And then on status changed. So these are the 4 methods that need to be overwritten, even if we just provide stub bodies for these methods. Now, as I said, on location changed is the important one here. So here I'm calling a method called show location. Let's look at that method. Oh, one other thing. In the location listener, after we have the location listener, we must register the location listener. And we register it by taking the location manager and requesting location updates for the location listener. We're using the GPS provider. There are 2 different kinds of providers here. One is GPS provider, and then we're using the location listener to provide us this information. So here's show location. I have my 2 text views that I can't currently see, and I'm calling them TV lat and TV lon. These are in the activity main with those IDs. So text view 1 and text view 2 are our labels, and then TV lat is here and TV lon, and we can see these have no text in them currently. So we're using TV lat and TV lon. We get those objects by their ID. And then it's a very simple matter. We set the texts in those two fields to a formatted string using location.getLatitude and location.getLongitude. And that's really all there is to it. So when we run this, we won't have the location filled in. So let me show you how you would populate these in the emulator. If we go up here to Open Perspective and select the DDMS perspective, we will get this choice now up in here. It will go to DDMS. And right here in the emulator control, once the emulator is running and found, we can throw a new latitude and longitude into the application. So right now I have 24 point nearly 5 and negative 122.084 something. And if I bring up my emulator with the application running, I can see that the latitude and longitude values are set. Now, if I change, let's say we change this one maybe to 34, a little further south, and send that value, I see the change immediately here. Now, in order to do this, if you are using the GPS service, you need to provide a permission to your application in order to use that service, and we provide it in the manifest file. And that is a uses permission tag with the Android name of android.permission.accessFindLocation. This is because we're using the GPS to determine this location. If we're using any other method other than GPS, and we're not using GPS, then we use access course location. If we are using GPS at all, access find location enables us to access either using GPS or some other method, either tower or IP address. So that's it. This is as difficult as it is. Remember that we must have this permission in the Android manifest file in order to access the location. When we talk about sensors in the next demo, we're going to see some of the same kind of code, especially right here, where we get the actual service. And remember this, it is always this .getSystemService with the context dot and then whatever service we want to provide. Thank you very much.